You should be in the middle.
All right, the light's green. That means it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to go ahead and kick off the meeting, December 30th, 2025, for the Santa Fe Economic Development Corporation regular board meeting of directors. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If I could have a roll call, Mr. Devon?
Bob Wiley.
Here.
James Wertner.
Here.
Terry O'Connell.
Here.
Matt Crable.
Here.
Brad Duffy.
Here.
Jason Hayes.
Here.
And Gary Somerville. Here.
Thank you. Let the record reflect all board members are present. Ms. Terry, will you do our invocation for us tonight, please?
Absolutely. All rise. Father God, thank you so much for bringing us all here today. Thank you for the cool weather. Thank you for all that you do that's good in our lives in this season of joy. Continue to bring joy to all of those here tonight and all those in the audience, and be with us and our families as we celebrate the coming year. Also be with us as we make decisions that will impact our community. Also be with our city leaders, our state and national leaders, that we can bring peace to not only our country, but the countries around the world. We ask these things in your name and for your sake. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. All right, item 4, which is citizen comments. I see we have one visitor tonight. Welcome. Well, now we got 2 visitors tonight, so do you guys have any comments you'd like to give us before we start the meeting tonight? Are you here just to listen and see what we do?
Here to learn.
There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Some of you,
Yeah, we know you.
folks already know, some regulars. I'm not just saying anybody out, but
Thank you guys for coming.
absolutely.
All right, so let's go to, let's jump down to number 4 reports. First one, and I'll ask for a motion on this one. Approval of board minutes from the regular meeting held November the 18th, 2025.
I move that the minutes be approved as presented.
I have a motion to accept the minutes of November
Second.
18th, 2025. I have a second. Are there any questions about that, the minutes of that meeting? If not, I'll call for a roll call vote.
Bob Wiley.
Yes.
James Wertner.
Yes.
Terry O'Connell.
Yes.
Brad Duffy.
Yes.
Matt Crable. Gary Somerville. Jason Hayes.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right, let's go to B. Current budget update, financial statement, ending November 2025.
So
Devin?
the finance department is still working on closing out the year, so we do not have the snapshot for the current month, but we do have the snapshot for year end. For September 2025, which was the last period of fiscal year 2025, we finished $59,714 over budget, current net revenue over expenses. The EDC fund balance for the end of the year was $4.1 million. Sales taxes for December, which are collected in October and paid back from the state in November, they are up 15.6% from this time last year, which is really good. But we need to temper that a little bit. There's been some non-typical activity with audits and quarterly payments, and so some of that value is a little inflated. If we kind of pull some of that out, the current projection right now is that we will finish the year under budget by 7.3%. I think we're going to have a strong November and December, January and February numbers, which would represent the November and December activity, that I think will boost that back up. Further going in, again, we finished the current period, we finished the month $60,000 over budget. And we finished the year $275,714 over budget. The rest is kind of the more detailed financial reports that kind of explain everything that I said at a high level. Again, the sales tax report showing 15.6% over this time last year, but that is a little bit inflated. We do have our quarterly investment report for the months of July, August, and September. In that quarter, the cash, tax pool prime, all the things that we have in the bank and in money markets, we finished with $43,234.14 more than anticipated in interest. And so obviously that helps that fiscal position of us being $257,000 over budget for the year. Outside of that, that is pretty much it for the budget and sales tax reports. One more report, we do have the BEAR program balance. We have currently awarded $35,000 to DW Florals and Gifts. Their project is mostly complete. They have $4,700 remaining in their balance, but I don't think they're gonna touch much of that. Hubcap Grill, we made the first payment on their award. They have $13,053.50. That'll be the second payment of their improvements. And then the remaining balance that's unencumbered is $83,736.50.
So 83,736, that's money that hasn't been
Awarded.
we haven't put out yet.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Devin, I have a question. On the monthly sales tax report, so the report right before the investment report, the 7.3% below, that's for basically now through September of '26?
Yes.
So basically, the first 2 months of this year are 7.3% below budget?
It's just the first month of this year.
So for October?
Yes.
Got it.
And then using just that 1 month to project out is estimating that 7.3% drop, but it'll probably be, we'll kind of grow away from that number, I
Yeah.
think, as we move forward and get more data.
All right.
When it fell anyway, you were anticipating, or was anticipating for it to be higher anyway. When we got the new reports in, they weren't in the last meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions for Devin on the financial part of it? Things are looking strong. Hopefully, and I think you're right, the last next 2 months will go back up. I think we'll be good.
When do you think we'll have those figures in
For which?
for November, December?
There's a 2-month lag in when the data is collected and when it's reported back to us. So this December sales tax report is for the activity in October. And so January's will be November, and then February's will be December.
I was just wanting to know if we'd have it during the strategic planning. If we'd
No,
have any
unfortunately
numbers. We won't?
No.
Okay.
They're, with the holidays, they probably, sometimes they have data for the month available that second week, but with the holidays, we probably won't see November's data in time.
Any more questions on the financial part? All right, Devin, you would do the economic development
Yes.
and project status?
So one new one that we're excited about is there's a developer looking for 40 acres to do a business park, a manufacturing campus for marine manufacturing. Basically, they have a government contract to build, I guess the most detail I'm allowed to say is unmanned marine vehicles. They have received a contract for certain components of the vessel, but they would like to establish a manufacturing campus so that they could bring in other businesses or entities that do the other components. So, you know, hypothetically, if they're doing just the hull, they would like to have a place where they can do the hull, but also help recruit new businesses in that do the engines, the wiring.
Drivetrain, the electrical, all that kind of stuff.
So this is like submersibles?
It's not submersibles, but it's a drone boat, basically.
Oh.
So it would be a fantastic opportunity for high-paying primary jobs. It would be kind of a unique thing.
How many jobs are we talking about for this type of facility?
Right now, they're not really sure because they don't really know who wants to come in with them on the project.
I mean, do we have a estimate?
Right now, with just the company that's approached us with this project, they'd probably start at 20 in year one. And so we do have a contiguous parcel of 63 acres in town that we are currently working with the landowner. It's not really my position to negotiate a price on the property up or down, but they have kind of reached a stalemate. So we're doing our best to navigate that. But that is a project that I think we're very excited about. And so I've been meeting a lot with that. But that is one that will kind of be on our radar at least until an agreement is made between the landowner and the developer, or if an agreement's not made, then we are going to lose the project, but at least we tried.
Would they be, or are we thinking they would be willing to take the whole 63, or they just want 40 of the 63?
They want the whole 63, but the landowner has a very strong opinion on the value of their property that the developer doesn't entirely agree with.
Does the property have water access?
It does not, but it's 400 feet away. And so it would be reasonable to extend the utilities.
Are they gonna keep their other location too?
No, this would be a new project.
No, but I know their other location. Are they gonna keep their other location too and use both? If it's the same company I'm thinking of, they're down the road too.
No,
Okay.
it's not them.
What kind of construction effort are we talking about?
So they're likely going to request some combination of TERS, which is a tax increment reinvestment zone, a PID, which is I'll draw a blank.
Public,
Improvement district.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
I get PIDs and PIDs mixed up.
Yeah.
And then a 380 agreement, which would be the rebate of sales or property taxes. They would like a PID and a TERS to help pay for the utility extensions. And then what they're likely going to need, they'll be trailering the boats off property to be delivered. So it's not like it's going to be, they're going to be delivered one at a time. The property that they're looking at does have an existing access point this property is located behind the railroad tracks off of Highway 6. It does have access to Highway 6, but part of the PID would also be to improve that access point to make it functional for the trailers to get over the railroad crossing. And then the PID would also be used to put in a lot of the civil stuff, the utility extensions to and then through the property, the roadways on the property, et cetera. And so they would utilize the PID to make those improvements, and then the TERS would basically be, the way the TERS works is any value being collected by the city now, we would get to keep, and then the increment, everything that's new above that number gets reinvested into that bucket, but it stays within the boundary of that project. They would use that money to then, as other companies come in and they build additional buildings, to kind of use that to make the civil improvements for those improvements, or those.
Am I allowed to speculate as to the where the property is located?
Yes.
19th and,
No, ma'am. It's in the vicinity of Avenue F and 28th Street.
okay, that's not anywhere near I thought it was.
With this 380 agreement, would it be an umbrella for everything or a one-time?
It would be an umbrella for every sales tax, and 380 agreements can be used for sales tax, property taxes, or hotel occupancy taxes. And that's something they are considering, and that's the primary driver of the 380 agreement. So there could potentially be a hotel component.
So there'll be sales tax coming from these vehicles, or they resell?
There's probably not going to be much sales tax coming from the project. They're interested in the 380 agreement because they want to do a hotel component. And so we can rebate the hotel occupancy taxes through a 380 agreement.
The people that want to build a drone boat want to build a hotel?
Basically, part of it is because it will help pay for upfront funding, because they can start making money off of that entity immediately. But then also, they would like to have the hotel either on-site or nearby, because they're constantly bringing in, because their contracts are typically government funded, they're constantly bringing in people to
Understand, I just can't imagine
inspect.
a hotel on that side
How
of the
big of
tracks.
how big of a hotel where we'd at least get the taxes from the
We would get
hotel, wouldn't we?
sales taxes from the hotel.
Hotel occupancy.
Hotel occupancy taxes are 7%. The blessing and the curse of hotel occupancy taxes are, it's very strict on what we can do with them, but we are allowed to rebate them. And with us being the only hotel in town, the only thing that we'd really be allowed to do with them is promote that hotel in town. And so it'd be more advantageous for us to rebate that to them, since they have more flexibility to do their own marketing, reinvest it into their project.
How many rooms are we talking about?
120 minimum.
120.
That's a pretty good size.
Devin, is that the only piece of property that would fit their needs? Is that one 63-acre lot?
Yes, that's kind of our last big contiguous parcel in the city limits. There are a couple of options that I'm looking at that are abutting the city limits that could be annexed in. The issue there becomes having to improve city streets all the way to some of these sites.
How big is that parcel I was talking about? There behind, right there on the corner of 19th and,
I know what you're not, it's next to
Oh,
On Point.
yeah.
That one's only 10 acres.
that's only 10? Really?
Yes.
Somebody
It's
must
a lot
have.
bigger than that, don't it?
Oh, yeah, especially since they mowed it.
Oh, they mowed it? Oh, I
Oh,
haven't
yeah, it
been.
looks beautiful.
I need to go by and see it. That's a,
I really thought it was a lot more than that.
I pitched that property for a lead that we got when I first started, and then that company was looking for 5 acres, so I was like, 10 acres, that's plenty. And then they came back, they're like, we really want 20.
One in one hand.
all right.
Project Sweet Treat is another lead that came in since our last meeting. That is a Korean-based company seeking 5 acres to construct a food manufacturing facility to produce chocolate-coated biscuits. The project would support up to 80 jobs by year 5. That's a statewide lead. I didn't have, I have full confidence in the site that I submitted, which was Corey Boyer's site, the former 9 acres on 1764 for the assisted living. That site had everything that this project was looking for. With it being a state lead, there's a lot of other communities that have industrial parks, things like that, that I don't know if we'll get.
I have a question. I thought there was a new law passed, am I wrong? That foreign countries can't purchase land in Texas anymore, is that wrong?
I'm not aware of that.
I thought that just,
There was some talk about it. I don't know if it
I
ever,
thought that
I
went
don't know if
into
it ever
effect
went
September
through.
1st.
I don't know.
Okay, I might be wrong.
It might be certain countries.
Yeah, I think they were zeroing in on a couple countries, i.e.
I
China.
thought Korea was one of them, but whatever.
South Korea would be fine.
Yeah,
North Korea. Project Goose was another one that came in that I kind of did some digging on. It was a company looking for 5 to 20 acre sites for data centers. 5 to 20 acres is kind of our wheelhouse as far as the kind of properties that we have available. But as far as the water and utility requirements for these data centers, we don't have anything that really matches up. And then Project BW is Harvest Grove. City Council is to review and potentially execute a situs agreement next week. That situs agreement would incentivize the developer to purchase construction materials in town wherever possible. And so the idea would be that for this, in anticipation of this project and other projects that they have in their pipeline, they would get the way that the deal is structured right now, I think council's gonna deliberate on it, but the draft agreement is a 60-40 split, with the developer getting 40% of any taxes they generate from the purchase of materials in town. So if they purchase materials from Sloan, from Galco, Jimbo's Nursery, the taxes generated from that, the city would keep 60%, but would rebate the developer 40%. And the idea is to encourage them to buy materials here instead of elsewhere. Not just for this upcoming project, but other projects they have on the horizon. But that's it for the industrial projects.
but, that's only for projects in our city.
No, ma'am.
Because if they buy from Sloan Lumber and it's delivered somewhere else, we don't get sales tax for it anyway.
It depends on how it's structured, but if it's ordered in Santa Fe, which they're establishing an office in Santa Fe, in anticipation of this project, if they order it in Santa Fe, then it will count. And so the idea
Even if it's
is,
delivered to another.
so the idea is that this office will kind of be their home base for purchasing construction materials for their projects here and in other communities.
I like it.
And so I'm actually really interested to see how that situs agreement works out. I'm kind of using this as a test case. And then I think we consider rolling that out as an option for other large developers like your Wyckoffs and other groups like that, that maybe incentivizes them to shop more locally in Santa Fe as opposed to other communities. Any other questions on the industrial projects? For commercial projects, I am doing my research for ICSC at Red River, which will be February 17th to 18th. BAHEP is providing a booth that they're covering half the cost of, and all the attending cities are covering the other half. I know the people they have on the hook right now are League City, Santa Fe, Texas City, Dickinson. I think there's one other that I'm forgetting that's attending.
Friendswood?
It might be Friendswood.
I thought it was Friendswood. So what is the half? What is half?
Last year, for all the communities that went, when I was working for Hitchcock, was $258 per community. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And so ICSC does a good job of every 2 days, they update the registration list of people who are attending, and that has their contact info and company that they work for. So I'm creating a target list of some of the retailers that I'd like to hit up while we're there. And I'm refreshing our property search tool so that I can create a handout that links to that. We should also have the HDL reports that you guys approved last month by then, that I can have handouts at the booth of those reports for when I'm not in the booth, and then little handouts that link to that information that I can go hand out at the vendors that I visit.
Are you going to create a QR code for any of this?
Yes.
That's what you're going to hand out, or is it going to be a hard copy?
I'm going to have hard copies of the reports at the booth, and then a little kind of like postcard-sized handout with QR codes to that
Like
information.
a rack card
Yeah.
with that information.
It says 2 rooms currently reserved. Who's going?
The plan right now, tentatively, is for Seth and I to go.
Okay.
Project Dirty Pop, I'm still working on that. HDL is generating the retail leakage and void analysis reports that you guys approved last month. I also met with the developer last week to review the opportunity of combining the Moody property that's on the frontage of 1764 next to Bighorn, the city-owned property behind the PD building, and then Mr. Becker's property is adjacent to the PD building on the left. If you add all of those parcels together, it's 10 acres, and that would be a very prime site for a retailer mixed-use development. Some of the targets that we discussed are, additional restaurants, not upscale shopping, but kind of more of your boutiques, salons, things like that. And then the developer I met with has connections with the regional representative for Aldi, that we might be able to get an Aldi on that site. And so that's something that he's going to review with his investment team and then get back to me within the next couple weeks.
Were they approached when we needed a grocery store here? I know it had been talked about.
I don't think that we were able to reach anyone from Aldi by the time that La Michoacana and Arlen's and Food Town had kind of made an agreement. We did receive contact information for developers that have constructed Aldis in other communities, but we didn't have a direct contact to Aldi at the time.
Okay.
What piece of land is this?
This is the intersection of 1764 and 646 next to Bighorn.
Can I make a comment about the Project Battleship?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would be careful, and I mean, have we thought about the type of people it bring to our town? A government facility like that, a place that does, high secret, drones. I mean, there's going to bring some people in this town that, we're a little small town. Our logo's a branding iron.
What kind of people do they bring that you're concerned about?
I don't know. I think we should look into. I mean,
Well,
it's a big commercial.
It wouldn't be a government-owned facility. It's a facility that pursues government contracts, at least. So I mean,
And
A
like,
lot of government contractors in and out of that place.
so does
Security.
A&A Machine and Fabrication in Lamarck. I mean, any industrial type group has those government contracts.
I'm
And I
just-
know that
I'm
because
just
Valerie
asking.
has been retired from there. And they had to sign non-disclosure agreements or whatever. So any of those type of places, you're gonna have government contracts and they're gonna be secretive or whatever. But if we can get them, I'd love to have them. Because we could use the,
Something to think about, Joyce. I understand what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying,
think about it.
why not give them the whole farm if they're going to be bringing a lot of revenue in, trying to woo them in here if they're going to be doing a bunch of secret stuff and we're not gonna make much money off of them, you know what I mean?
We don't know what they're
I
gonna.
mean, I don't know what, making drones for the,
We
for
just
the
got to see,
government.
yeah, I mean, we're still in the beginning stages
Yes.
of all this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still way down the road, but no, I understand what you're saying.
And I think some of the philosophy here too is, back of the envelope math, doing some easy estimates. I think we're probably 15 to 20 years from build out where we won't have any of these larger parcels to recruit larger businesses. And kind of once you hit that build out, you don't have that, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't have that anticipated growth every year of, we got a couple hundred homes or, a couple dozen homes coming in every year. We've got one or two new businesses coming. Eventually that kind of tails out. And so the philosophy here is kind of getting some of these in now. And it's not so much that you're giving them the farm, but if you can land them now for a 15, 20-year deal so that when that term expires, we inherit 100% of the value. We need it then necessarily, not necessarily, we need it then more than we need it now, if that makes sense. If I share, if your business were to come into town and we split your tax revenue 50-50, I don't need your 50% now as much as I need it when I don't have any room to bring in new businesses at build out. And so that's a little bit of the philosophy
We
here.
will reach that point.
Yes.
Well, the other side of it could be a great thing. We could be a neat business. It brings community of other businesses just like it. They support that and supply.
That's kinda what I like
And then
about
we end
it,
up
yeah.
becoming
Yeah.
the
They start the big
capital of
business
drone boats and drones, period, because we're a big supplier.
Something that I'm excited about is, and I'll use the Daikin facility out in Tomball. They make the air conditioner units and all that. They use a certain kind of wiring that requires a really specific kind of soldering that they needed people trained in that. And so they partnered with the state. There's something called the Skills Development Fund. And long story short, that fund paid for a program in Tomball ISD to train the high school kids how to do that soldering. And so then they did they took the program in high school and then graduated with jobs at Daikin. There's a very similar opportunity here maybe where we have the opportunity for some of these kids to translate straight into some of these high-paying, high-tech, advanced manufacturing jobs.
Well, that's already happening with the growth there in Galveston, or anticipated with the shipbuilding.
Yes.
The colleges are getting on board right now.
Texas City,
Get into that, yep.
COM and College of the Mainland, COM and Galveston College.
Infrastructure projects. So the Senior Living Center, the EDC attorney is going to send a notice of termination for our agreement on January 5th. And
We've been
then
talking about sending that letter for months. What's the holdup?
the EDC attorney recommended making it through the holidays so that there's not any confusion on cure periods or anyone trying to reach out. And then also it's additional time that no activity has been made that he felt it was easier to stand on that we could submit a notice of termination.
Okay, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. I know this isn't a part of our agenda tonight, but that's $122,000 that we will have back to spend.
Yes.
And I'd like to, for probably our January meeting, put that out there to add that to our BEAR program to increase our budget because we're down to 85,000 and we have several grants and that money was essentially already spent and we're getting it back. So why not help out our businesses with it that are actually viable and not a pipe dream?
I'm not opposed to that idea. I think the only caveat there is that money probably came from the infrastructure budget because it was to install the.
Okay, we'll put it
utilities.
back and we can take it out of the other budget.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that $122,000, let's put it in there. And I'm not saying we have to, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, just
If
let's
it
talk
came
about
from-
it.
Yeah, if it came from infrastructure, we can put it back in from infrastructure and take it out of our
We've
other.
already talked about raising the
Yeah.
program money.
Yeah, but
anyway.
there's the
Y'all can
money
do that
right there.
Regardless of what's
Yeah.
happening with the 120.
Right, I know, I just thought since we had already spent it and got it back, then why not put it out there and use it for people that need it?
Keep going.
City drainage projects, we basically approve the city manager and the public works director to bid those projects, those 8 projects that were presented last month. We set a tentative program budget of $750,000. So they are going to bid those 8 projects and we'll see the collective total of those 8 projects. And then from there, I think it'll be on you guys to kind of decide with Billy, our Public Works Director, on, if it comes in close but a little over 750, do we want to use that 122 for that? Do we want to, just fund what we can out of the 750? That'll be a conversation that will be had after we get all the bids in.
And I heard, you told me today the bids are going out when?
January 5th.
January 5th. That's a magic date, it sounds like.
So everyone quit working 2 weeks ago.
On the next page, the administrative tasks, I know, I don't have an update, a more recent update on the status between the city and Civic Plus on upgrading to the new platform, but I am doing what I can to refresh the site. And then I've put a lot of work in this month of adding in new properties and refreshing the properties that we had in that site selection tool. All of that is kind of in advance of that conference in February. Bear program, we're continuing to receive applications. We've got 4 applications that are kind of out right now for board comment, and we'll get the Bear Committee together probably in mid-January to meet with some of those applicants. The EDC policy, incentive policy, we're going to review that tonight. The idea is to have something not necessarily in place and adopted, but something that you guys at least feel comfortable with, that I will bring to our strategic planning session on January 9th to go over with council and hopefully get final approval on that, and we can go from there. Shop local campaigns. I was really impressed with a lot of the work that was done by local businesses on their own. Driftwood does a great job of highlighting other local businesses. Kitty Biddington with Custom Cabinetry, I know that they set up a kind of like a joint program where they did something at one business one day and that one business did something with them the next day. They did a lot of those. We ran our storefront decorating contest. I was hoping for a few more applicants. We ended up with 4 total. I'll be getting with the winner of that contest this week and trying to schedule a photo op, and I'll let you guys know when that is. And then I've actually heard a lot of good things from some of the businesses that participated in the shop and stroll, that they were very appreciative of that, and it might be worth considering doing one of those in the spring. Outside of that,
Can I ask you a question?
yes, ma'am.
Since it was noticed that the local businesses were sharing information about other businesses, why didn't we pick up on any of that for December?
Because it's not
Shop
really, we supported Shop Local campaigns. We did have the Shop Local map that we generated, posted, and then I ran Facebook ads from the date that it was posted to Christmas.
Right?
Um,
That's all.
It's just a tricky situation for us to have a business that posts something that we like, and then we post that, we reshare that post, and then other businesses that either don't post as often or post stuff that maybe we don't necessarily agree with get upset that we don't share their posts. Something that I think is a good example is I did a post back in June of all the new businesses that had come in between January and June, and tagged those businesses and posted a picture of each one. And I had a couple of businesses reach out and ask what they needed to do or what they needed to pay to also be highlighted on the EDC page. So it's just kind of like a tricky situation
But that
of,
was a good thing, that they noticed what was posted and then asked to participate.
yes, but those were posted because they were new businesses, and it was more about getting the information out there. But we're not a market board for all the businesses, if that makes sense. We can't post some businesses, we have to post no businesses or all businesses. It's sucks, and it's
That makes sense. I mean,
It
tricky.
makes sense to me too. I think we keep it generic and it's shop local. It's for the benefit of all businesses in Santa Fe.
that's what chamber's for, to be selective when you're a member.
And I do find every opportunity possible, making that post of all the new businesses wasn't necessarily to promote the direct outcome wasn't to promote them as much as it was to promote Santa Fe as a place where new businesses were coming in. but the indirect benefit was those new businesses also got promoted. It's the same thing with the video that we posted with Clear Life Media. There were businesses in there because they either met a certain criteria that we were trying to promote in the video, or they're just a really nice looking place in town. The direct, benefit of that video was that it promoted Santa Fe as a place for businesses and families, but the indirect benefit of that video was that it promoted the businesses that did
Did
make
you
it.
get any pushback from that video?
I did have one person reach out and ask why they weren't included. And so it's tricky.
All right.
Uh,
Do we have a list of stuff that we can and cannot post on business? Like, I could think that could get real tricky. You could have there are a couple of shops I can think of that we probably don't want to promote. Yeah, just wouldn't be good to do that, so, yeah.
And that's why you gotta keep it generic, don't do.
So we're not posting no more new business, is that correct?
No.
Or we
No,
are?
I think we'll do those posts probably every 6 months or so. I will say that we just had a really nice run of new businesses come in between January and June, and then since June, we probably had 2 come in. And so I've been putting it off that post just because there's a big difference between posting 9 businesses at a time, because that's, hey, look at all the new businesses we got. And then posting 2 feels a little more like promoting those businesses specifically. But everything that we post is more about promoting the opportunity in Santa Fe and the small business community as a whole. So like a Shop Local campaign is to encourage the patronage of all local businesses. Something that we do, like the ribbon cutting for Warpath, is more about not necessarily promoting the EDC for the sake of promoting the EDC, but promoting what we do, if that makes sense.
Terry's done some posts, is it for the EDC or the chamber? Because you do a good job.
I do it for whoever wants to see it.
Right.
It
I
doesn't
like your
matter-
posts.
doesn't matter to me if it's for, because I post businesses that are not chamber members, and I post members that are chamber members, because I want people to come shop and spend their money in Santa Fe. I don't care one way or the other. I would love for everybody to be a chamber member, because I'm very involved, but if they're not, that doesn't mean I don't want you to spend your money there. I want you to spend your money in Santa Fe, because I want those tax dollars for our community. So I
like your posts, I'm just.
thank you.
Yeah.
Keep going, Deb.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Good.
The last thing on here is I'm waiting for an update from the state on the traffic cabinet contracts. We did receive an update from our regional rep with TxDOT that the new legislation from the state only disallows improvements to crosswalks. And so they are still allowing traffic cabinet murals, and we're just waiting from them to sign the contracts allowing us to make the improvements to the traffic cabinets.
Have you had any luck contacting our new painter since our old painter left?
No, not yet. That was going to be something I was going to ask about in strategic planning, is because when we had our joint meeting on September 30th, beautification did come up a bit. If we wanted to push forward with that, knowing that there might have to be an increase in budget, because we did have an agreement from the previous painter.
I like us to talk about that one again, because in the beginning, when it was free labor and all we had to, it was a great deal.
Yeah.
Now it sounds like it might be a little bit more expensive than it really be worth. So, but I want us to talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in strategic planning.
Because all we were paying for was the paint.
That's right, and now,
And it's becoming a lot of work,
that's true.
honestly, so.
We'll talk about it in strategic planning. Okay, thank you.
The next page, there's a lot on this. It's the update on the bear grants. I think some of these are kind of under review by the board, some of these are under review by the committee. I don't really have any major things to highlight on this page, but I'll take any questions if anyone has any.
When are we going to do the presentation for the 2 that have been completed?
So I need to confirm with Seth, but from what I understand, the meeting that you guys will have with council for the joint strategic planning session is on January 9th from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. What I was going to ask you guys about tonight is if most of y'all are gonna be available for that time slot. Is it worth trying to pencil in an hour or half an hour before or after to knock those out? Since y'all will already be in town and assembled.
Well,
Can't be before. I mean,
Yeah,
I
y'all have
can't
a
be there
prior
before.
engagement, right?
Pam can't be there before because we have a prior engagement that we're gonna leave early to get here
Right.
for, so.
and also with it, is he on the 9th? That's on a, well, that should be workout.
Yep.
If we did it later on that afternoon, because I know Anthony's available on Fridays.
I think until 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and then,
He's off on Fridays. He does not work on Fridays.
the soap factory, she's gonna be in on Friday.
Yeah, I had already talked to the soap factory and they would be cool with it. I haven't heard back from Anthony yet.
I just told y'all he's not available on Fridays. He told you Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from this time to that time.
He gave me Fridays also.
Oh, did he? Well, that's not what he told me. I'll butt out then, because he does not work on Fridays.
Get back to him and
Yep.
see what.
Yeah.
see what's available.
Well, while we're all here together, do we want to say a time that everybody's available on that Friday? Then you don't have to make the phone calls.
I mean, y'all are all technically available at 3 o'clock when our meeting adjourns. If y'all are okay with going,
Straight over there, that would work for
which
me.
I will tell you because we have a quorum and there's another committee behind us. The city secretary told me to tell y'all as politely but firmly as possible that at least 4 of y'all are gonna have to leave immediately because of Open Meetings Act stuff. But I
So
mean, if-
4 of us can't be at the,
No. We just, as soon as that meeting adjourns for us, we need to scatter.
are you I'm not talking about the meeting, I'm talking about the presentation. We can't all be at the presentation.
No, we all can. we
Oh, but
just-
then just, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So if we're all here at 3 and then we all need to leave,
Yeah.
can we just
to
go?
the presentation?
Yeah, can we just go straight to a?
Yeah,
Yep, no problem.
that is good.
All right,
So 3 o'clock, we'll leave from here and we'll go do the presentations at
Soap and.
Soap, and the gun vault is the business.
Yep.
all right.
Next page are just my meetings and events that I attended. Nothing super major to highlight. I've had a lot of meetings with the developer for Project Battleship and for Project VW. I do want to shout out the city manager and city staff for the Christmas market, which I think was a hit, especially for our first year. Another thing that really impressed me was this was my first year attending the city's annual tree lighting. I don't know if any of you also attended that event, but the weather that night was awful or threatening to be awful, and we still probably had, if by my guess, 300 to 400 people came out.
It was a great turnout.
Yeah. So I was really impressed with that. Really happy to see the community activated like that. We did have a meeting, Bob, Terry, myself, Carlo from the chamber, and a couple of city staff. We did have a meeting to discuss how we might go about forming and hosting a community calendar to kind of compile everyone's events and things like that in one location. That's something that's going to be a work in progress. The issue from the city and EDC side is kind of going back to the conversation about our social media. The city doesn't want to be in a position where the city has to basically host anything that's submitted to us. So if we're hosting a calendar and, one of our churches wants to post an event, we have to post it. But then if there's an unsavory business or entity that also wants us to post an event, we have to post it. Another issue of concern from.
That's the city, the city's rule.
Or the EDC.
So if we sponsor a community calendar, we don't have any say-so on who posts on it?
No, because it's
Says who?
well, it's a function of the city. We're
We
eligible.
talked to our lawyer about that?
I can get clarification on that.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
bigger
that's-
issue for us
Yeah.
is, and it's another reason the city didn't want to host it on their own, is if it is a community calendar on the EDC website, for example, and someone goes to that event and gets hurt, I'm not saying they'd win, but they can sue the EDC for posting the event.
Okay, so I have a question about that. Anytime, for instance, the Heritage Festival, we have to have insurance coverage for that.
Yes.
The chamber does, or when we host a parade, so the insurance would cover it, so what's the question? Why is there a question about getting sued? There's insurance to cover any of that kind of thing, so why is that a problem?
It's not a problem for that particular event, but there might be an event that doesn't have insurance, or.
Well, why would anybody have an event without insurance? That doesn't even make sense.
It could be a protest or a rally or.
This world,
that-
you know, we need a community calendar, and I can't
But
believe.
we don't put protest on our calendar. If somebody's
Well,
protesting,
that's what I was gonna ask. Can we not establish the guidelines or the criteria for the events that are eligible to be posted on? Obviously, we should be able to establish our own criteria.
I think it's just easier for a non-public entity like the chamber, for example, to host the calendar. And then the chamber is allowed to have their own criteria and process for who gets to post, where it gets posted.
So Terry, so from your perspective, the chamber would be willing to accept that?
well, with the parameters that we talked about.
That's right, the parameters we talked about.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yes, and again, we're, the chamber, speaking from the chamber's point of view, we're not gonna post, well, there's gonna be a protest down in front of City Hall because, we're gonna,
Certain things you just won't be able to post.
no, and,
That's right.
and we don't have to.
That's right, you don't have to.
So,
Okay, I get it.
yeah.
All right.
And so, like I said, it's a work in progress, but are working on that. I do think a benefit to the chamber would be with that community calendar being on the chamber's website, for example, that would drive a lot of non-member traffic to the chamber. So I definitely think there's a benefit for.
And I spoke extensively with the chamber president in Galveston because they have a community calendar and then they have a
Chamber.
member investor
Right.
calendar. So those, most chambers have that. We have not, but we're willing to do it, like I said, with the
It's
parameters.
doable.
Absolutely.
We're not inventing-
No, we're not reinventing the wheel. That's why I talked with Gina Spagnola, because she's an expert. And why waste our time reinventing the wheel when they
I
already,
know, they've had the ins and outs.
exactly.
All right.
Outside of that, that's kind of the biggest ones.
All right. In the sense of time, any questions for Devin for any of his reports? If not, we'll move into new business.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
I've got two more reports.
Go, sorry.
Real quick, the travel schedule. I'm slated, and Seth is potentially slated to attend the ICSC at Red River Conference. That was the retail conference we were talking about earlier. I have Pam and Terry down for the TEDC Women in Economic Development Conference. That is slated from March 31st to April 1st. Registration has not opened yet, but I will let you guys know when it does to confirm if you guys would like to attend, and then I will make all the arrangements.
I hope
Also,
it's not when I'm in Argentina.
Also upcoming is the TEDC Winter Conference in El Paso. I don't know if anyone would like to attend that, but registration is open. If you want to look into that or ask about it, I'm happy to answer any questions. That's typically one of TEDC's smaller conferences, and with it being in El Paso, I would say that I don't know if I would recommend going to the Winter Conference more than I would recommend going to the Mid-Year Conference in Plano in June, which it's been a couple years since I've been to a TEDC conference, so I'm planning to go to that one in June.
In Plano?
Yes.
That's the one I talked to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anybody that's interested in going to these conferences, get with Mr. Devin and we'll see what it takes to get you there.
And then really quickly, the community services report for November. The Mulberry Farms Gas Station Shopping Center, the permits are paid. They are just dragging their feet on starting construction. Quick Car
Is
has,
that B&O?
I don't think it's B&O. I think they sold that piece to another entity.
Thank you.
Quick Car build out, their interior work is underway. Centerpoint continues to move at light speed on their project. SCV Valve is nearing completion of their expansion. And they're slowly but surely, this is more of a regional project, they're slowly but steadily moving towards having all of the sidewalks and utility relocations in place to take down the bridge at, on 2004, just off of Highway 6.
You know, Devin, are they taking both ways down? Or are they just both, so there's no getting through on 2004, north of Highway 6? Wow.
How long is that?
Plant
How long is it
workers are
gonna be
gonna
on
love
service
that.
for?
I can't even imagine.
I think the estimate was
Go
9
down to
months.
Delaney.
9 months?
9 months.
Woo-hoo. People who live that way aren't gonna be happy. Yeah, that's big time. But it needed to be done for a long time,
Oh,
so
I
you
agree.
gotta do it at some point, but it's gonna
Usually they
be,
tackle a bridge one side at a time.
usually they do. Yeah, that is kinda weird. All right,
That's it for the executive director's report.
all right, thank you. All right, with that said, if there's no more discussion on any of those, we'll move into new business, number 6. Discuss with possible action, presentation and discussion of an official investment policy for the city of Santa Fe as presented by Santa Fe EDC. Mr. Devon.
So as we discussed way back on April 29th, this is the same investment policy or incentive policy that I brought to you guys. We kind of reviewed it, and then I think, if I remember correctly, the recommendation from our board was that we let council chew on it first, and then we make some revisions on our end. I did present it to council, and I think at the time, there was more discussion about the process in which projects are handled and vetted, more so than the policy itself. I think the mayor even said at some point, I don't necessarily have an issue with the policy, but the process. And so what we have is the incentive policy that was presented in April with some, excuse me, very slight modifications. And then what's new is there is a project vetting process that I've kind of drafted based on my experiences with some state leads that I received and Project BW and how we've kind of had to handle that without having a city manager for the first half of that process. And so this is just my first swing at how I think the process should work. The idea is to build a bridge between our board and council so that they're kept up to speed on what's going on without bypassing you guys. You know, they made a comment in that meeting that, you know, they don't like hearing about new projects on Facebook, which was when we were streaming them on Facebook Live, our meetings, and I don't think there's a way around that. I don't think it's, when I present a new project to you guys like Project Battleship, like I present these things to you guys as soon as I can. And so I feel it's the responsibility of the EDC board for you guys to kind of give me guidance when I receive some of these leads on, you know, yes, I do think this is a good project to pursue, or no, maybe we shouldn't consider this project for these reasons, or have you considered a different site? I think that's the value of this board. And then from there, we kind of hone it down and narrow down on a site, what the project is really going to look like. You know, with Project BW, it was the difference of, oh yeah, well, we're going to have 13,000 square feet of retail. Well, we honed that down to, well, now that's 3,000 square foot of restaurant and patio, 10,000 square feet of family entertainment. Once we kind of narrow it down from a big vision into like at least a model of what we want it to be, then I think we do what I'm calling a kickoff meeting where 2 representatives of our board would meet with the mayor and the mayor pro tem, the city manager, any relevant city staff, and then we really have a conversation about this is what the project is, this is what the developer is asking for. And let's kind of start negotiating from there. And then our role will kind of be to take a back seat a little bit to provide guidance on what incentives they're asking for. But because a majority of those tools are agreements between the city and the developer.
We
it's
don't have any
ultimately-
incentives.
Yeah.
That's on the city side of it.
Right.
Right.
So I see this policy and vetting process as kind of our recommendations for what projects they can they should consider, and then the project kind of outlines how we get from receiving a lead to us massaging it based on these criteria into something that is ready for council. You know, I still give updates on all of our active projects in our meetings. Every quarter, I do an EDC update to council, and I submit the board packet for that month into their board packet. They're free to watch the videos. They're free to ask me questions. I'm doing everything I can to make myself available to them to answer any of their questions. And so really, it's just having an open and clear channel for communication between what we're seeing and what they want to see.
The way I see it, a project comes in, you do the legwork. The city council can't do the legwork, that's not their job, that's your job. And so you do the legwork for them, and they can call you and ask you if they've got a question, they can call you and ask you any question, you tell them what's going on. We kind of, like you say, you get it down to, okay, now we're ready to maybe go a little bit further, then you have the meeting with the city manager and whoever, and go forward. To me, it makes sense. You know, and I don't think we're trying to cut city council out. In fact, we're doing them not a favor, but we're doing the legwork for them. And if they've got questions, we've got questions, they might have other questions. We'll call you up and ask you those questions. So it's, we're not trying to do anything behind anybody's back and we can't go forward. It's their decision to make. It's not our decision.
Right.
So at the end of the day, they're going to get it. So.
Devin, on this project vetting process, this is new?
Yes.
We haven't seen this, correct? Okay. I would just say in the review of the investment policy, I'm fine with that because I've had the opportunity to review it, but I don't know that I want to look at accepting the vetting process until we've had a chance to digest what you're proposing. I would also say, I actually sent something that I got at the Galveston EDC to Seth as part of our strategic planning to talk about this very thing. Because I agree, we do need, like, if someone came to me, I wouldn't know where to tell them to go first.
Right.
We do not have established procedure among our city entities of, here is the process.
This is where you start.
So to me, I think taking a first stab at it is good, but I think it requires other eyes on it, and it's actually a bigger project than just what we perceive as the process.
I agree.
And I will say, I think step one is at least the most important in kind of understanding where I was coming from. The kind of using Project BW as an example, especially because I started in March, late March. We didn't have the city manager on board until late July. There was kind of a lot of confusion on, you know, whose role, whose authority, blah, blah, blah. So I think my biggest takeaway from that whole experience is step one for me in this process is I really like Georgia's model for the pre-development meeting. You know, if you own a piece of property in town, you can fill out a form, and basically what it is, it requests time with the community services director, the fire marshal, the building inspector, and you can come in and ask any questions about your property. So I want to take that model and build on it a little bit where it's like, okay, we have a project, like Project Battleship, for example. We're kind of getting to a point where if they put that land under contract, step one would be to get myself, the community services director, the building inspector, the fire marshal in a room, but then also DD1, the water district, every relevant entity to answer questions up front. Because with BW, we had a lot of issues of, you know, okay, I want to do this. Okay, we like this. Have you run this by the drainage district? They ran it by the drainage district. The drainage district actually had a recommendation that instead of running to 2004, they could run it off, 1764, they could run it off the back of their property into a ditch that they had behind it that they weren't aware of. And so being able to kind of massage a lot of the kinks out up front as opposed to, okay, we came here, okay, wait, we found that there's a difference that.
It can all be handled at one time.
Right.
Instead of this, you now talk to them, now talk.
Yes.
Yeah, it can all be handled
And then there was
in one fell swoop.
because we didn't have the city manager for part of it, there was a lot of negotiations between myself and the developer on what I thought council would want to see in a development agreement, and then go to council and find out that council had an issue with blank, or they'd rather do blank. And then it's going back and forth, where if we can kind of get it all ironed out on the front end, where the rest of the process is just, okay, have the attorney draft up something based on these terms, okay, these are the terms, and then we're done, as opposed
People's
to.
time is valuable, and it makes more sense to get everybody in one room.
But you listed all the people that you would have at the meeting, but did I hear city council, the mayor, anything? I mean, that was the issue with all
So,
that.
step one would be kind of like that. This is what you want to do. You have the land under contract, or you've purchased the land. Here's the meeting with DD1, WCID 8, Community Services, to really make sure that everything you want to do,
Planning and zoning.
yeah, fits the criteria, ordinances, et cetera. Once we've kind of identified that you're in compliance, then the next step would be to put the developer in a room with, similar to the BEAR program, we don't want to do a public meeting, so it'd be 2 representatives of council, 2 representatives of our board, the city manager and relevant staff, to basically then put all those people to have Georgia there to say, hey, this meets all of our code of ordinances, to have me and our board members there to say, we've vetted this, we've looked at it with the incentive policy, we think this is worth pursuing, and then to have the 2 representatives of council and the development team there to say, you know, okay, we want to do this. Okay, well, we don't like, okay, you want to do a residential component. We don't like the residential component. Okay, well, we can replace that with something else, and have those conversations then, as opposed to getting too far along, drawing up proposed terms. We don't like the residential component. Pull those terms out, put a new thing in, drop new terms. So it'd be a staff meeting, a pre-development meeting, to make sure that what they want to do is feasible on that property. And then the next meeting would be with you guys, council, and the city manager to really start ironing out the negotiations of, you know, we want to do this project, it's allowed on this property, we would like a TERS. And then council can say, we don't want to do a TERS, but we'll entertain a PID. And then they can have that negotiation from there.
Okay, that answered my question.
I just recently went through some of the similar to this process. The only part I didn't have the PIDs or the turf. I had a meeting Zoom meeting with my architect, me, planning, fire, building, a couple other different entities of the city, all on a phone call. I was in contract with the property, seeing if we can get a PUD. Gave them all the information, they took that and then wrote their recommendation for me when I would go to city council. So, and then when I went to the city council meeting, planning recommended not to give me my project. There were some stipulations, so I had to go through the process again and come back. They still planning did not want me to do the project. City council did. They overturned the vote on the planning and gave me the PUD. Had a 2-year time to get the PUD and everything done, planning and all that stuff. So that's something similar like what you're talking about now?
Yep.
Okay. The only difference is I didn't have the EDC component or any, because they don't care what I do. They're gonna, I'm gonna do it, whatever, you know what I mean? They're not gonna give me no money.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be great if I got some EDC money, but yeah.
And then the only difference, you know, Santa Fe is a little unique in the sense that, you know, if you do something in Galveston or League City, for example, those cities handle their own drainage requirements and they provide water, and we don't have that functionality here. We have multiple entities, and so
You need tech stock too, right, if you do stuff, because,
TxDOT is, we can invite them,
Good luck.
yeah. Yeah, we'll invite them.
no, I get it, I'm dealing with tech stock right now, so yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is basically a step above, you know, the community services pre-development meeting basically is for you to get in a room and talk about everything that the city controls as far as your property.
That's
This would
great,
be an extension of that to where we get the water district and drainage district in there also, so that,
yeah, and
because we
this,
can't do anything, we can approve a project, but if the drainage district doesn't, then.
It falls
Yeah.
Explain the timeline on this last comment. All applications reviewed by the Santa Fe EDC and the recommendations be forwarded to the city council for their review and final approval.
So this is kind of written in a way that if council doesn't want to do the investment and incentive policy and they only want to do the project vetting process, or vice versa, these kind of stand alone. So if they don't like the vetting process, then the incentive policy is written where, you know, we will, because people are gonna come to the EDC first, we'll still have that pre-development meeting. But if we don't have the kickoff meeting, then similar to the Bear Committee, you guys would make a recommendation on a project. You know, we met with the developer, it, you know, meets the criteria of this policy, we make a recommendation to council to, proceed with negotiations with the developer. But all of these are drafts that can still be tweaked and.
Gotcha.
I have a question too. So once the strategic plan is completed and there's the vision for the city completed and zoning and all that stuff has changed for, and all that stuff is planned, wouldn't that make this process a lot easier for you since you have like a target to shoot for, like what we want our city, what type of people we want here?
Not necessarily. I mean, you definitely don't want a situation where, I'll use League City as an example. League City has an incentive policy that they are pursuing, or one of their target things is advanced manufacturing, and I don't have it on here, but they have, I do have it on here. They're pursuing advanced manufacturing and clean industrial, but they have no properties that are zoned for advanced manufacturing or clean industrial. So obviously it makes it difficult at that point to recruit something that you don't even have a place where it's allowed by right. So I mean, it is helpful in that front, but I think we have enough places already that are either zoned appropriately or are zoned in a way that would be favorable for a rezone. You know, so a large vacant tract of land like Cora Boyer's property, he's got 9 acres on 1764, kind of going out towards the city limits, towards Lamarck. The EDC had a development agreement with him to help extend the utilities, but since nothing has been done on that property, he's been sitting on it as ag exempt, and so it's zoned ag residential. Obviously, you can't put anything on ag residential as far as commercial goes, but that's a favorable zoning for a rezone.
Why can't apply for SUP?
No, I'm just saying, like,
PUD?
you're not allowed to put anything on ag residential,
Without rezoning.
but you can rezone it. That's a really easy zone to rezone. If it was zoned single family and you wanted to rezone it to industrial, P&Z just looks at that differently than. Ag is basically just like a reserve zoning. It's like your base.
So everything you
All right.
just described, does that satisfy the issue that the mayor and city council brought up to you, said they felt like they were out of the loop or didn't, but what you just described, wouldn't that satisfy that issue for them?
Yes. My idea is, or my goal is to have a process in place that we can be as nimble as possible of being approached by someone wanting to do a project in town. We get them all the information they need on the sites that they're looking at, from all the entities that would be involved, and we get it to you guys and to council as quickly as possible.
Because we have a limitation of 50,000 with it, and then we have to have city council approval, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
but in a
So
situation
all
of,
these that are listed right there, all those are not going to fall within that.
all of these things listed, because this is the city's policy, are all things that the city can do. That's why the Bear Grant is not included in this list.
Okay.
We have, how much money for infrastructure?
We have 1.1 million this year.
So we can use that to bring infrastructure to a new business, right?
Yes.
Road, pipes,
Yes.
sewer, everything. Towards the multi-
We've already allotted 750,000 of that
Yes, this year.
till October 1st.
Yes.
All right, backing up to the item we are talking about. It says possible action, but I have to agree with Matt. This is the first time for us seeing the vetting process. Let's give it another month, if everybody's okay with that. Turn it
I
over.
think we can move on the investment policy because as Evan pointed out, they're really can stand alone.
Okay.
I'm fine personally with the investment policy. The vetting process, I think,
wanna
requires
break
more
it out?
discussion.
I'm okay with that also.
They're going to be talking about it during strategic planning anyway.
Yeah, I probably should have changed this motion.
Because it won't be in effect until after city council approval.
So I think really, in the spirit of what I was actually trying to accomplish, if you guys are okay with it, I'd like to take these two things to our strategic planning
You
session.
don't have to take any action.
do that.
We'll discuss it, and that way they're there, and we all get our voice. Is everybody okay with that? All right, sounds good. All right, so the next one is, under new business, is B, discussion with possible action and recommendation of the Bear Committee regarding a grant application submitted by the Santa Fe Historical Foundation located at 13304 Highway 6, Santa Fe, Texas. Mr. Devon.
So on December 8th, we met with Dean Butler with the Santa Fe Area Historical Foundation to discuss the application for, they're seeking funding for electrical improvements. This would be for the old school building, or the old school museum, I'm sorry. And basically, what they're asking for is assistance with, I'm gonna jokingly call them electrical downgrades. The way that he described it is the amperage that the master control board can handle is overkill at this point.
Way overkill.
And so-
And old.
Yes.
It was put in 1928.
That's right. That's right.
So you'll be surprised to learn that that master control board is has been discontinued, is no longer
Oh,
in.
you couldn't get parts for it if you wanted to.
And so they'd like to install new components, downgrade the amperage, and basically it would, the current components are well beyond their lifespan. It potentially could be a fire risk, and so this would be a public safety improvement almost for.
Downgrade, upgrade.
Yeah.
And the savings for, as far as the electrical bills, would be astronomical.
Probably gonna be great. And what was the total amount they were asking for, or the bids?
So, they are asking for, just under 13,000 in, improvements. The bid that they, would like to go with is for $12,669.75. One thing that I appreciated also is, they are seeking other grant opportunities, for other improvements.
They are.
So it's not like they're just leaning on us. They have other projects that are in the works that they could have potentially incorporated
The
into.
historical foundation groups in the state of Texas, so they are just.
And
they're-
nationally.
They're not just coming to us or asking for,
Yes.
so this would just be a part of it.
Yes.
Because they got some roof improvements, they got some floor improvements, they got things, but basically, they're just asking us for the electrical. Because that's probably the priority right now for a safety standpoint.
Where are they going to 200 amp from 400, 600?
They're going from 800 to 200.
Yeah. 400, I thought.
You understand,
Is it 400? Okay.
Yeah.
you understand the
400 now?
on-demand charge on that?
800 now.
800 now,
400.
going back to 400?
Yeah.
Because it was enough to
Power that.
power the whole thing, and now they just need to power that little.
That's just that building.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, 400 amps still overkill for that
That's,
building.
yeah, that's,
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot
So
of.
their bill runs them probably $800 just on the.
I believe it's the Cap building.
Yes.
Camp Wallace building.
And the old
museum,
gym.
And the old gym.
Yeah, so it does all of that, and they're supposed to be,
complex.
yeah, the CAP building, they're going to be able to acquire, they're looking to acquire soon
Right.
from the school. So, anyway,
And that 400 amp service will take care of all those.
all of those, right.
Whole thing.
200 amps will take care of all that. 200 amps.
200 will probably take care of it.
The way you understand ampacity is not everything's gonna be on at the same time.
That's right, no, that's right, that's right.
Everybody wants to look at it that way.
That's it.
Like, say the buildings that Matt just said, maybe 3 of those buildings, there's not even a light on.
That's right, that's right. So you don't need all of it at one
I
time.
need all at one time.
You're right, probably 200 in any given day would probably handle all
Why are
of
they
it.
going with that bid? Because it's not the lowest bid.
It's
it was-
local.
It was local, and if I remember correctly, it's a contractor they've used in the past.
Well, and they've,
who's already done a lot of work there. and-
Radis.
And has done it at discounted
and
prices.
a lot of it for free.
Yeah.
So,
And this,
and again, we decided we're not gonna tell anybody which contractor they have to
Right.
use.
right. This application did come in before the slate of revisions, so it is being held to the original standards. but that is the amount that they requested.
And the Bear Committee met, and we voted to, our recommendation was to award it.
All three support?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What about
Thank
the
you.
salvage? Who gets the salvage?
I don't think that was mentioned.
Wasn't.
Something you need to look at, because there's salvage there. There's scrap wire, even all that metal, all that,
What else is a pound right now? I think it's almost.
there's a lot of salvage there that we
Well, can't they take it in salvage and take the money themselves? I mean, to me, that would be, I think that's what they've done on some other stuff we pulled out of there. They just took it to the local place over here and took the money and put it back into the fund.
It needs to be stipulated. It's not
I don't feel like
You're
we
saying
have.
so the contractor doesn't take it?
exactly right,
Okay.
you know.
I don't care who takes it,
There-
that's a
there-
lot of work.
there-
You gotta load it yourself and you gotta unload it yourself.
I'm an electrician. I understand what's there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's salvage there, and that contractor needs to either give it back to us, or he takes it off the bottom line. If he sells $1,000 worth of scrap, it needs to come off the bottom line. We're gonna give the money to
Can
him.
we, and I agree, I think it needs to go back to the,
Why don't we leave that to the historical foundation to negotiate with the contractor?
Somebody has to negotiate it, no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
I'll talk to Dean.
We need to
I will, I'll talk to him.
visit that.
But that is a
To
good
be honest with
point.
you,
Sure it is.
okay, I'll just talk to Dean and tell him, look, there is a question about that, and you guys do whatever's best for y'all, not the contractor. Yeah, okay.
Do we need a motion for this?
I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation of the Bear Committee to approve the application submitted by the Santa Fe Area Historical Foundation in the amount of $12,696.75.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second to approve the Bear Committee recommendation to the Historical Foundation for the upgrades in the electrical system at their buildings. Any further discussion? If not, I'll call for a question.
Question or roll call vote?
Roll call vote, I'm sorry.
Bob Wiley,
Yes?
Gary Somerville,
Yes.
Jason Hayes, Brad Duffy,
Yes.
Pam Swertner,
Yes.
Terry O'Connell,
Yes.
Matt Crip.
Yes.
All right, well, it looks like we're kind of winding down to the end. 7 citizen comments or announcements. You guys have any comments? Thank you for being with us tonight. I hope we didn't hopefully put you to sleep. There's a lot of discussion goes on here, a lot of things going on. Thank you for coming.
And thank y'all for being one of the ones that's promoting the other businesses and everything.
Thank you.
Very much
Thank you for your
appreciated.
interest.
We're all just small people trying to make it stuff. Especially our
Y'all doing a good job.
This announcement?
The Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce is having their annual gala at the fire station on the 31st of January. Tickets are available, sponsorships are available, and our theme this year is Come Grow With Us. We partnered with DW Floral and Jimbo's Nursery and the Seed Library from Friends of Babe Ruth's Library, and it's going to be a growing type theme, and we're really excited about it, and we've contracted we've decided on the food vendor and the menu and the casino and all that, so we're really
Where's the gala gonna be at?
at the fire station.
Fire station.
The fire station, so
When is that? January
January
31st.
31st,
Guys, she said all of this.
I'm sorry?
I said she said all of this.
Yes, so that is all coming quickly, and we're excited about it. Also, the first Wednesday, is the chamber luncheon? Yeah, no, second
No,
Wednesday.
second Wednesday.
Second Wednesday, I think it's the 14th. I gotta look at my calendar. It's the 14th, Valentine's Day, is the chamber luncheon, and that is at the Hidden Palms. And so we hope you can join us for that. Non-members is $25. If you don't register in advance, it's $25, or it's $20 if you're a chamber investor. And we'd love to have you come to that. Those are my two big announcements. Be safe. Don't pop fireworks in the city limits.
I talked to the fire marshal today. He will be out, and he says he has been instructed to enforce the code.
$2,000, up to $2,000.
Yeah, so, he'll work with people. He had a little comment today about, you got to go to each thing and decide, if you tell them to stop and they stop, thank you, move on. Now, if you come back and you're doing it again, then it's a different conversation. If the kids are out in the street playing with sparklers, he ain't gonna be bothering nobody.
That's not what
It's
causes the problem.
it's the stuff that goes up in the air that he's concerned about. Even though we've had a little bit of rain, it's still pretty dry out there, so it's gonna be a fun night in Santa Fe. It always is, even inside the city.
There you go.
Also, Terry and I have signed up for it. League City Chamber of Commerce is holding a economic development, and they're gonna have the Bayhab, SVDC,
Amy Skicky from
Very-
Baytran.
Baytran, and,
Their State of the City event,
Yes,
yes.
When is that?
the League City State of the City event.
it is the,
31st?
no, it is January the, I don't know when it is, Pam, I just signed up for it last night, I can't remember. Oh, let me look and see if I got my email back with
Yeah, they'll
the,
send you an email of it.
yeah.
Anyway, if anybody's interested, that's gonna be a great panel.
Okay, I'll get with y'all. I like to maybe
It's,
attend that with you
it's
guys.
$50 a person.
Yeah, and I.
If you're not
I
a
don't remember the
chamber.
Date.
All right, I'll get with you on it.
Yep.
All right, any further announcements? If not,
Just
I'll
a
ask-
reminder,
go ahead. January 9th?
January 9th from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock will be our joint meeting with council for our strategic planning
here?
session. In here.
Okay.
City
We kicked
staff,
off Earlier, right?
say that again?
Don't we meet earlier?
No.
I thought it was like an all-day event.
It is,
No.
but not for us. We
Not
just
for
have
us.
2 hours.
He's meeting with all kinds of different groups. That's
Ours is 1 to
our time
3.
slot.
And then at 3, we're gonna go do our 2 awards.
City staff will be meeting all day with council on Wednesday and Thursday. Which is funny because then we're gonna adjourn the strategic planning meeting and then at 7 o'clock go into the council meeting on the 8th. So it'll be a long day
A
for
long day,
the
sounds
city
like.
secretary.
All right,
January the 15th is when the
15th.
luncheon is.
all right, thank you. I'll get with y'all.
I couldn't remember what day it was, but I
We'll
said-
go.
All right, if there's no further comments or announcements, I'll ask for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion adjourned, got a second?
Not all at once.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Happy New Year to everybody.